Yeah, fantastic. All right, Rob. All right, Rob. Who has a calculator on their phone or other device, something like that?
I got a calculator.
You got a regular calculator? That's fine, because we're going to do a little bit of multiplication. I don't expect you to be able to do that in your head. Rob, we're going to leave your dollar right. I got an idea, Rob. Instead of just leaving your dollar right here, will you do me a favor and take your dollar and write the serial number. You don't have to write the letters, just the numbers on that whiteboard as big as you can.
All right.
Yeah, just write it on there as big as you can. And you got your calculator ready? Okay, fantastic. Don't give it to me. You are going to be the accountant
Here, you
for what's. You know better than I do. Okay, you are going to be the accountant. Okay. All right. So get that thing fired up and ready. You're just going to do some simple multiplication. We're going to have some people come up and generate some random numbers. And I have a Post-it notepad right up here with some lines drawn on it. And what I want. I don't want anybody to show me the numbers, even though it won't matter that much, and I don't want them to show anybody else. And I'd like random numbers. Like, I don't want you to fill in every single space with the same number, you know. So as random as you can make them. And we'll have 3 people do 3-digit numbers. That's why I've got the spaces up here. You understand, right?
Yes.
Yeah? And what was your name again?
Kristen.
Kristen. Okay, Kristen, think right now of a 3-digit number. 3-digit number. Don't tell me what it is, though. Okay? I want you to think of the first digit. Good. And the second digit. And the third digit. Will you do me a favor and just change the third digit? That's good. That's better. That's better. That's all I want you to do. Now I want you to come up here and write on this pad of paper, just write those 3 digits on those top 3 lines for me. Okay? You can go ahead and do that right now. So it's okay if we see it, but try to keep it at least a little bit hidden from everybody. Let's see, I need somebody else to do the same thing. 3 digits. What is your name?
Jacob.
Jacob. Okay, Jacob, do the same thing. Think of any 3-digit number. I'm not even going to try to mess with your mind at all. Would you hand it? Oh, you left the pen up there?
Yep.
It's fine. Jacob, go up there, and on the second set of marks there, write down your 3-digit number. And let's see. Oh, hey, how you doing? Sarah. Sarah. Yeah. Are you good with numbers? No. Okay. So what is your name?
Lewis.
Lewis. Lewis. Think of any 3-digit number. That's good. Okay. Think of the first digit. Is it an odd number, that first digit? Yeah. Think of the second digit. Good. Okay. Even. And think of the third digit. Also even. Yeah. Okay. All right. Change it to a completely different 3-digit number. You're far too easy to read. You got a completely different 3-digit number? Run up there, grab that pen, write it on the last 3 lines. Okay, and it was Lewis? Mm-hmm. Yep, all right, fantastic. And tell me your name again?
Fonz.
Fonz, that's right, okay. Good to see you back. Okay, Fonz, you okay with multiplication? You're going to type in 3 digits times, 3 digits times, 3 digits equal. You're going to get a number. Okay, you got it? Thanks for capping the pen. You know, you filled the thing out and you didn't even bother to cap the pen. All right. So here, you take the 3 digits, the numbers that they've written down. Now, go ahead and multiply those in. I'm trusting you. And as a matter of fact, Fonz, don't let me distract you. But
Just straight across?
Just straight across. Yeah, that's the first. Boop, 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 times boop, 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 times boop, 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 whatever they wrote. Okay, now, look. Don't mess up. You got your dollar there?
Yes.
All right, look. You wrote these numbers yourself. I haven't even looked at the serial number.
Yeah, well,
You got it? Did you get it right?
teamwork, but yes, I wrote those down.
Yep. 683-89095. That's good. That's eight digits, just like it should be, and everybody can read them. Is that ta-da? That would be good, but what I'm going to do is even better. Right, Fonz? Are they going to trust you on this? Are they going to believe this?
Yeah,
sure. No. They got to see you on camera. We didn't set this up, did we?
like the last time, no.
No. Come up here. Okay? You don't need those anymore. You've already done the multiplication. You still have the result on the calculator?
Yeah.
What I'd like you to do so that the camera can see it is hold the calculator in front of the numbers so that the camera can see it, and then read the numbers off the calculator, the result that you got
6838995.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Okay, this is a pretty advanced presentation for the mystery of the traveling numbers, which basically is that you just have some people write down some random numbers and they add up to a number that you've predicted. What I wanted to do is I wanted to take it out of that simple mathematical realm and I wanted to push it as far as I possibly could. So, what I've done is I've made that number, the prediction, the serial number on a dollar bill. And instead of just adding up the numbers, we have them multiplied. Now, that's going to drive everybody crazy, including people that are mathematically minded, because first of all, how do you predict a number that big by just having some numbers multiplied together? Well, there's a couple of things that you have to do to make that work. One of them is you have to find a dollar bill that has a serial number that is the result of multiplying numbers together. Now, I don't know how much you know about mathematics, but not all of them will work. As a matter of fact, out of, say, about 30 different bills, you'll only get a very small quantity. 8 of them is what I found out of about 30 that work, and only 2 of them work with three-digit numbers. Now, the way you find it is you take your dollar bills and you go to a site that gives you the factors, the factorization of that number. So in the old days, before we had factorizing calculators or computers or the internet, they couldn't even have thought of doing the trick this way, because you have to have a computer that will figure out what numbers multiply together to make that big number that you have. Sometimes when you punch that into a factorizing calculator, you'll only get 2 numbers. The serial number itself and the number 1. Those are the only factors. That means that that is a prime number that you have there. It can't be multiplied by any other number. Sometimes you'll only get a couple of things, like 2 times 2 times a huge number will equal what you've got, and that's it. You can't use those. What you're looking for is a number that factorizes down to a lot of smaller numbers, and you want to find a 3-digit number, and then a couple of 2-digit numbers, and then a whole bunch of 2s and a 1. And you take the 3-digit number, you multiply the 2-digit numbers together to hopefully get another 3-digit number. If you have to, you multiply 2 to that. You multiply the string of other ones together. You will eventually find 3 numbers that can multiply together to give you that result. When you find that bill, you write down those 3 numbers, you clip it onto that bill, because that is a very special thing to have. This works with those 3 numbers right there. 165, 505, and 450 multiplied together will equal this serial number. Now here's some of the other bills that I've found. It's okay if you end up with one that's kind of like this, where you have a 2-digit, a 3-digit, then a 4-digit number. In fact, these are the most common that you're going to find. 2, 3, 4. So you have that. Here's another one, for example, that works for this bill. And a few of these are like that, 2 3s, 4s, 2 3 4s. Here's an unusual one that has 3, 3, and 4. I would only use that in a pinch if I absolutely had to, because trying to explain why you want to use 2 3-digit numbers and then 1 4-digit number is a little bit iffy. And then here's one that's kind of neat. If you want to do it with 4 different people, you've got a single digit, a double, a triple, and a quad. So that makes sense. You can have the first person come up and write down 1 number, second person writes down 2, next one 3, next one 4. Any of those makes sense. What you need to do is to switch both the bill that you borrow for the one that you're going to use and the numbers that the people write down. So first let's talk about the switching the bill. So you have this, and actually let's talk about how to switch the numbers first. It'll make more sense. Switching the bill is actually the easy part. Once you have a bill that works and you have the numbers here, here's the way I do it. I just take a regular Post-it pad. I tear off a couple of the pages from the back side. The back has been taken off, and so these are sticky here. I just pull those off. I turn them over. I stick them back in place. So now there's no sticky on this side. There's no sticky on that side. Then I draw in 3 sets of 3-digit lines, like so, an X, and a space. So it looks like that. Now, before I do anything else, I turn the pad over, and I do exactly the same thing. Now, you can do it one right next to the other so that you can make sure that those lines look exactly the same. But as long as you're doing it on both sides pretty quickly, nobody's going to notice that much discrepancy in it. Now, on one side, and it doesn't matter which side it is, you just fill in the numbers, but you've got to use other people's handwriting. So you can go get other people and ask them to write that number down if you want to, or you can just fake it. So however you would write down the numbers, you can put that in first. That's 163. And then that's my handwriting. So now I would do somebody else's handwriting for the next number. You want to make sure it's clear what it is. Okay, that's pretty clear. Somebody might be confused by that 5, so I'm just going to clarify it so that when they multiply that out, they know that it's a 5. This one, if I did this for performance, I would scrap that because I want to make sure it's very, very clear. So that gives you an indication, you would tear that off and you would rewrite it to make sure it's clear that it's a 5. We'll leave it for the explanation. And then the last one, let's go like this, 4 and a 5 and then a 0. And again, that's a bad 0, but you'll see the idea. Okay? It should just look like 3 different people wrote those numbers. Okay? That pad is left on the table like this. Now, you can do this close-up. You can do this as a walk-around trick, but you're going to have to make sure you get your dollar back and you recycle this every time. You can have all this stuff in your pockets. I do it as a stand-up trick. It makes it so much easier. This is just set off to the side on a table that's upstage. And then next to that, you just place the pen. That's simple. So the bill that you're going to switch in, you keep that number clipped to it until the very last moment because you don't want to lose this bill. So all you're going to do is you're going to fold it up into 8s. You're going to take that clip off of it. You're going to place it into a pocket where there's no other money. You're going to make sure you don't lose that one. So now I know that I'm set to go and ready to go with this thing. Now if I was doing this close-up, all of that stuff would go into the same pocket. All you have to do now is ask for the loan of a dollar bill, and while their attention is distracted, you put your hands in your pockets, you bring out the bill, palmed like this, and then you say, in a moment, I'm going to have some people write down some numbers, just some random numbers, and we're going to do some math. And as I fold the bill, I just do a simple switch. You just don't look at your hands. So here's the bill I'm switching in. All I'm doing is I'm folding it like this, and then on that last fold, I just push it into palm, and I grab the bill like this. It's very simple. So the last fold of the borrowed bill here, and I pull that out like that. So now I'm holding on to the folded bill in the same hand that has the other one. When you're palming something, it's a good idea to hold on to the bill like this. Then you say, who's really good at math? You know what? Why don't you hold on to your money? And then you just hand it back to the same person that you borrowed it from, and they'll keep it folded like that. They shouldn't remember that you ever touched it. You just say, hold on to it, keep it folded like that. We're going to have somebody do some math here. I need a calculator. And now you get your calculator. So you just bring it out. Now, we don't need it for the explanation. It just works out. So any calculator will work. Now, what's kind of cool about working now in a technologically advanced age is that everybody has a calculator with them. So everybody's phone has that. So when you say, I need a calculator, somebody will say, oh, I've got one. It's on my phone. Or you can just say, does anybody have a phone with a calculator on it? And they'll bring it out. And that's enough distraction. So now what's going to happen is you're going to ask people to go up one at a time and write down numbers. And you just bring the first person up here to the pad, and you just explain to them. You say, I want you to write down a 3-digit number. Just put one number here, one number there, and one number there, right in those lines. And you show them the lines. So when they go up, they will write down random numbers, whatever it is, and it doesn't matter what they write. So they write down whatever numbers they want. Okay? Then you ask the next person, and this is done here. What's interesting about this is that if you leave it sitting on a table like that and you ask somebody to write the numbers on it, they don't pick up the pad in their hand and write on it. So there's no chance that they're going to see the other side. So they just come over here, they write down the numbers, and then they leave the pen. Second person comes up and does exactly the same thing. All the audience sees is somebody writing numbers on a pad that's sitting over there. They can't tell what those numbers are. Last person goes up, they do exactly the same thing. And all I have to do is walk over and pick up the pad and tear off the other side of it. So I just walk over like this. I pick up the pad. Now, my back's going to turn to the audience for a second and shield this, but just don't think of it. Don't think of it as a big deal. Just do it. So you just walk over, you pick up the pad, you tear off the other side. Now remember, these are the numbers that I wrote on here. So the switch is super easy. It looks absolutely natural. You don't have to worry about using a gimmick to do this, although there are some gimmicked ways out there. If you prefer those, great. Some of the gimmicked ways, you never have to touch the pad to do that, but this is a really, really cheap, easy, direct way to get those numbers. So you just come over, you tear off the pre-written numbers and put the pad away. And of course, the pad has the actual written numbers here. Now, you give that to the person who's doing the calculations. It's important that I mention, though, that the people that wrote down the numbers shouldn't be anywhere near the person that is multiplying the numbers. That person should be isolated from them. So if you're doing this close-up, you want to work to like one side of the group over here and get the person furthest away to multiply the numbers out. And that's it. They just multiply them up. If you're doing it stand-up like you saw me do it, that's really easy. Just work to one side of the audience and then get somebody to do it on the other side of the audience. And the important thing is that while this multiplication is happening, you have this person who you borrowed the bill from write down the serial number really large, especially if you're doing it on stage. If you're doing it close up, you can just have them put it down like this and everybody can look at it, but it's better if they write it large. And one of the nice ways to do that is in close up, you just grab the same pad, you just bring that same pad out and put it down on the table with the other side up like this. And then just say, here, just write that serial number really large right here. You tear that off. You don't act like the pad's anything special, and now it just looks like, you know, everything has been organic the whole time. Now, on stage, I like to do it with a large dry erase board. Basically, what happens is they multiply these numbers, and then they call out the result. Now, as they're calling out the result, you take this piece of paper and you destroy it, put it into your pocket, let them call out the result, and it matches the serial number exactly, and you've got yourself a very weird effect. That's it. Well, if you're doing that effect with the multiplying the numbers in walk-around situation and you want to keep that special bill, or even if you do it stand-up and you want to keep this one, you're going to have to do another trick where you switch their bill for something else. It can be any trick that you want. Doesn't matter what it is, but this bill has to be switched for the one that you've already gotten from them. Now, the problem with that is that you have to do it at a time where they've completely forgotten about the serial number, where it doesn't matter to them anymore. I can't give you all of the recommendations for it, but you already have their bill folded up in your pocket, so you can do a very simple switch just like you did before, or you can make the bill vanish and appear in something else. Often in walk-around when you do this, you'll get that as a tip, so you don't have to worry about it. However you want to go about it is fine. My recommendation, though, is if you're going to commit to this, and if you're going to do it on stage, leave this with the person who you gave it to. Because they think it's their money, so it's better just to have them walk away with it. I know it's going to hurt to do that because you've got to find another bill that works just as well, but you have all those other ones in reserve. If you check every dollar that you have, you'll find a lot of them that you can reserve for this trick. That's a much better way to do it because they get a souvenir. They don't know it's a souvenir. They think that their bill is magical in some way. That's the best option. So name any number from any digit from, say, 0 to 9 inclusive. That means you could name any you know what I'm talking about. What digit would you name?
5.
5. That is what I thought. Fantastic. All right. Terrific. And what is your name?
Sophie.
Sophie. How are you, Sophie?
Good.
Name any digit from 0 through 9 inclusive. What would you like?
Out loud.
Just out loud so everybody knows that we're using the proper digits.
Right.
What number would you
5.
like? She just named it. Look! Oh, I got it right! Yay! A different one, Sophie.
7.
7. All right, fantastic. All right. It's all right, things happen. Name any digit. You got it, right?
You want me to say it out loud?
Yeah, say it out loud. Yeah.
4.
4. Okay. It's the same. I'm doing the same thing for everybody. So yes, when I say name it, I mean out loud, I mean any digit. And it's okay if you duplicate things if you want to, but it's best not to name exactly the same thing. I'm trying to do this randomly if you haven't figured it out. Okay. All right. So any digit.
9. 1. 3.
2.
8.
Okay. I hope this works. Keith, it's resting on me and you. Well, no. Why? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about it too. Okay, I'm having trouble adding them up quickly. Can you do this? Can you do math in your head? Or do you need the calculator? Because it's just addition this time. Just add up the row of numbers that we generated there. Everybody's number is there, by the way. 5, 7, 4, 6, 9, 1, 3, 2, 8. Everybody hear your number? Yes? Yes? Add them up. Okay. I'll take the envelope and the lighter.
I need that back.
Just add them all up. Did you add them?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool. That was pretty quick. I couldn't do it.
No, the agent told me the answer.
That is so true. Just, so true. Yeah, right away, yeah. Yeah, no, it's so true. And you know what's funny about that, right? I know what's funny about that. What are you studying?
Mathematics.
Mathematics, yep. There you go. Right, okay. All right. Yep. Oh, it's on fire. What are we going to do? Oh, no. Quickly put it out. Okay. It's burning. What are we going to do? Put it out. We're going to, what? Let it burn. Yeah, let it burn. Anyway. We're going to make sure that there's no, oh, good. This place is pre-war. So, all right. Now, we do have flaming, burning, hot edges. But I've come prepared.
An ashtray.
Well, it's not really an ashtray. A plate. Yeah, it's all the same. Yeah?
I messed it up.
Oh, sorry. I'll do it this way. There. Okay. Now, I don't know if after all of... Oh, your lighter? Look, I remembered. I don't know if after all of that, if anybody has paid any attention at all to the envelope that has been in your possession the whole time, and it doesn't really much matter to me at this point. What total did we get?
45.
This is kind of an unusual revelation for a mathematical trick. In the book, the original revelation was done with the number appearing as a cutout, and you used a knife to make it appear kind of like a magic wand. I wanted to kind of bring that up a little bit by making it burn in, and it's always fun to play with fire, so it just makes it more interesting for everybody to watch. There's a little bit of arts and crafts that's necessary to make the number appear. The first thing is you have to decide what number you're going to use. Now, it just so happens that the number recommended in the book is 45, and it's a good number. And the reason it's a good number is because you need to be able to remember, for the trick to work, you need to be able to remember that number minus 9 as a key number. So in this case, 45 minus 9 is 36. And both of those are multiples of 9. It makes it a little bit easier to remember. You'll see why in a moment. When things are being added up, you have to remember your key number is 9 less than the prediction number. You'll see why. But let's make the number 45 appear the way that we did. So you're going to need some index cards. And you just take an index card and fold it in half. And then you write your 2-digit number on that index card large. So we write 4 and 5. And each one of those numbers is on its own panel. So the 4 is entirely here, the 5 is there, nothing goes across the fold. And they're written large, so there's plenty of space to work with here, because after you write it, you then cut it out with an X-Acto knife. You cut very close to the lines, so your width of the cutout is about a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch, just like that. Now, I know you don't want to sit there and watch me cut the whole thing out, so I've already done it. Just like a cooking show. Hey, check it out. The number's already cut out. Then you're going to take your lighter and you're going to burn those gaps. So you hold the lighter underneath it and you let it light up and immediately blow it out. And then as soon as it gets large enough, you pinch the ashes with your fingers, because if you let it burn, it'll burn a lot. So you have to be very careful that you blow it out and get rid of the ashes as soon as it starts to get large enough. See, it continues to burn until you snuff it out with your fingers like that. And I know you don't want to sit here watching me burn that, although that was a lot more fun than cutting it, but you end up with something like this, where it's burnt randomly in and it says 45. Okay, so all of that is just to prepare this revelation. Then you have to prepare a double envelope. In the book, there is a really great preparation for a double envelope. It's super, super easy to do. You just take one envelope, you cut off the sides like so. You open the envelope up like this. You cut just above the fold on the bottom piece like that. And you get rid of this. And that piece that you've made will slip right inside of another envelope like so. So now you'll have a double envelope that has 2 flaps at the top. You're going to take your prepared card and place it in the back. That's between the 2 flaps. Slip it all the way down into there so that the front section of the envelope is empty. Now, you could lick the back flap if you have to prepare this without any glue around quickly. You can tear the inside one if you need to do it, but if you've got the time to prepare it, it's best to use some glue. And you just take that, and let's not glue the close-up pad. You just take the glue and you run it all the way on the edge of the outer flap. You even up the inside flap with it. You press it down. You let that glue dry, and then you fold the flaps down together like this. So now you have what looks like just a single empty envelope, and you are ready to go. All you're going to need to do is put that into a box of regular envelopes, so it's the frontmost one. You take your index cards and stick those in the front. Now, one detail that you may have noticed is that I use index cards that are too big to fit in the envelope without being folded in half. And that's on purpose, because in the performance of it, this is what happens. You bring out the index cards, you have somebody take an index card, or you take one yourself and you show it, and you say, I'm just going to seal that inside of one of these envelopes. You don't make a big deal out of it. You just start to put it in the normal way, and it won't go all the way in. So you say, oh, I guess I should have planned better. Then you fold it in half. Now this seems like it's an action that just happened off the cuff, so that later, when the card is folded in half in the envelope, they think it's the same one. It's a very subtle psychological action. So that now goes into the envelope like this. You seal it, and you're all set. Your prediction is already in the envelope, ready to go. And now all that's left to do is to have a bunch of people name off numbers. And here's where that key number comes in handy. Remember, the number you're going for is 36. Here's how you force the number 45. You're going to ask somebody to name any digit from 0 through 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, any digit that they want. And you turn so that they can see you write it down. So let's say that you named 3, and I heard you. You said 3, so I write down 3. You turn to somebody else and you say, name another digit. They name another one, and you write it down so everybody can see it. You turn to another person and you say, name a different digit, and they write another one. Now, as you're doing this, in your head, you are adding these up. And what you need to do is to get to 36 or higher, your key number or higher. Because the first 3 you write down openly, and then you start to write them down just looking at the people. But you're adding the whole time. It's not that easy to do. So you have to practice this. So at this point, we have 11. Okay? So 3, 5, 11. Keep a running total. 11. The next time somebody names a number, you're going to leave a space right here, and you're going to write their number a little bit lower. But they're not going to see that. So they still think you're just writing the numbers down. So at this point, we have 18. Somebody names another number. I'm just going to write them openly so you can see. We'd have 27. 30. Let's go 38. There's a good example right there. Okay? So as soon as we get over the key number, 38, then nobody has to name any other numbers. But now what you have to do is you have to work in your head what number needs to go there to equal 45. So 38 to equal 45, you have to add 7. You have to do a little bit of math in your head. 45 minus 38 is 7. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. But that has to happen as you write the last number. You now know it's 38. You now know you need to write a 7. So you just go back up there, you put a 7 in, and then as you turn, you put a line under it and a plus sign. And then you ask, do you see your number? Do you see your number? Did I get your number? I got everybody's number? And everybody sees the number that they named in the order they named them, with that one exception of the extra digit that they never noticed that's in the 4th position. So now if somebody adds up those digits, it adds up to 45. They will tell you what the total is. You can do it, as though you're getting an impression of the total from them, if you want to. But I just prefer for them to say it, because then it just seems like I just needed a random number, and that's the most random way I could think of getting it. So as soon as they do that, you are then going to either burn the envelope to open it, or you're going to tear the envelope. Now, I like the burning of the thing. I don't want to get this messed up, so I'm just going to step over to the side here. Come with me. That's where I am, just over to the side. Yep. And I'm just going to burn right here, like this. Blow it out. And it's exactly the same thing that you did before. That will continue to burn until you snuff it out with your fingers. You have to go very fast because you don't want to burn yourself, and those ashes are hot. But as soon as that's gone, see, make sure you get those pieces. As soon as it's gone, when you open up that envelope, there are 2 parts to it. All you have to do is go to the one that's furthest away from you, the non-flap side. So I peek in, I put my finger into the non-flap side, and now I can show the audience, because the burn or the tear will obscure the fact that there's anything extra about it. I reach in, I take this out, and I love the fact that when it's folded like that, you can't exactly tell what it says on it. You can get an inkling that it might be correct. Now this, you just crumple it up as though it's an empty envelope. And it's important just to throw that away and pay no attention to it. And then when you open up the card, the number that they have randomly chosen has been burnt into that card. Everything can be given to them for examination. Now I'm going to mention one last thing, and I didn't do it in the performance, but for anybody that loves card tricks, this is a great number to use as a revelation. Before you do this trick, you can force the 4 of spades and the 5 of hearts. And this is also a kind of a classic old gag. Once you get to this, you can say, not only did I get the number, I also figured out your card and your card. If you look at this, you can see a 4, and that is a letter S. That's a 4 of spades. Is that what you've chosen? And they say yes. And you say, not only that, I got your card. You turn it over, and you can say, see, there's a number 5 and a letter H, and that would be the 5 of hearts. Is that yours? So you can get a lot out of this. Have fun with it. So Sarah, you're going to think of somebody that I don't know. Somebody that you know, is either a friend or a relative of yours that there's no possible way that I could know in advance that you're going to think of them. Don't tell me who this person is. Could be a man, could be a woman, could be a boy, could be a girl. I guess that's it for humans. And then what you're going to do is you are going to write that person's name, print it actually, print that person's name very clear, very legible, right here, first and last, without letting me see it. Do you understand? Do you have that person's name in mind? Yeah? Okay. I'm turning away because obviously you're not very good at hiding things. Sarah, have you done that?
Yes.
You're finished with it? I want you to take that piece of paper that you've written on, and I want you to just fold it in half. Yeah? So I can turn around. Can I turn around now?
Yes.
It's folded in half? You've got it? Yeah, perfect. Okay, great. In fact, fold it in half again the other way, so it's yeah, that's perfect. All right, great. That's fantastic. Keith, may we borrow your lighter again?
I don't know.
You're not sure? All right, terrific.
Yes.
Good. All right, so Sarah, I want you to concentrate on the initials that you have written down there. You've written down the first and the last initials of the person that you're thinking of. Just their initials, yes?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
No, I wrote their whole name. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was distracted. It's my fault. It's my fault. Okay? We don't need that. Okay? No, it's all right.
Okay.
But you're going to do it again. And this time you're going to write down just the person's initials. Do you
Okay.
understand? Okay.
Correct.
So we don't need that stuff. All that stuff's going to get burnt anyway. But on another piece of paper, draw a circle and then just write their initials big and bold in the center because I want everybody to be able to see their initials. Okay? And I'm not going to pay any attention to you. Now, back to you, Sarah. Oh, have you folded it up?
I folded it once.
Fold it again. Yeah, so it's completely hidden, right? Don't let me touch it, whatever you do. You now have the person's initials.
Correct.
Initials only,
Yes.
written in a circle
Yes.
on that piece of paper, so that you can visualize them very clearly in your mind, their initials. Now, what you're going to do, can I trust you with fire?
I guess so.
Okay, I'm going to hope that I can. What you're going to do is you are going to light the edges of that piece of paper on fire, and as it burns, you'll drop it onto the rest of that, so everything will burn together. Don't drop it too quickly or it'll go out. Don't wait too long or you'll go up.
Okay, so you're going to light every single corner and then drop it on top.
Well, you can light the edges and let it burn a little while. Everybody will love that. I'm going to turn away just in case anything peeks out, so that there's no way that I can see it. Do you understand?
I suppose.
Yeah, I'll be over here. Hello again. All right, and just let me know when it's burnt enough. Yeah, cool.
Sure.
I'm trying not to watch. Have you done it yet? I hear lots of flicking and no actual. I want everything burnt to ashes, to cinders, but don't catch yourself on fire.
Oh, okay.
Are you doing it? Have you done it? Yeah? Is it burning?
Yes.
Yeah? Cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, if I were to turn around now, would I be able to see those initials?
No.
No? Not from anywhere? Is it still burning though?
Yes.
Well, there's a chance then that it could burn in such a way that I might see them. So I'm not going to turn around until you're satisfied that there's no way that I'm going to see those initials. Okay? So is it still burning?
Yes.
Yes, good. Oh, good. It's good. Let it all burn. Now, important thing though, Sarah, is as it's burning, I want you to think about this, the person's initials.
Okay.
Okay? I want you to imagine them in that circle. In fact, to help me, just think about the person right now. Is this an older person?
Not much older.
Than what? Not much older than what?
Not much older than 30.
Okay, not much older than 30.
Yeah.
So it's not a child is what I was trying to say.
No,
Okay,
not a
good.
child.
Right. So you, and this person is, well, they seem to be, okay, perhaps of British or Irish descent. Do you know anything about their lineage?
Not particularly.
I'm seeing a person whose family, I believe, comes from England. Or I don't know. Maybe I'm getting something confused. But I see. Well, I don't want to tell you exactly what it is. But It's a man, yes?
No.
I'm seeing someone doing something like rolling some dough. Maybe I'm actually seeing further back in their lineage. You know, not this. So it's a woman. Mm-hmm. Here, can I turn around now?
Yeah.
Is it all ashes?
No, it's not all ashes.
But I can't see the initials?
You shouldn't be able to.
Here, give me some of these the ashes if I can get them. Here, get rid of these pieces. Get those pieces out of there. Don't let me see the pieces, whatever you do. And I just need these ashes. Seeing an E and a B. And E
That was on the paper that got ripped out.
and a B.
I
Those.
didn't put it on the second piece of paper.
Oh, you changed it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. But that was burning in with the other one.
Yes.
Yes. This must be who I was getting the impression of. The E and the B. Is this an older person?
Not much older than
Not much older than what?
Than me,
Oh.
21.
So not a child.
No, not a child.
A man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was seeing this man rolling dough, rolling out. It's not what he does, is it? No. It's his last name. It's his last name. It's his last name. His last name starts with a B. Baker. Is that correct? Yes? Yes?
Yeah.
Now, that might just be a lucky guess. Would you be impressed if I could guess his first name?
Yes.
There's lots of names for guys that start with E. I have friends, and I have a friend named Eugene, another friend named Elliot. It's neither of those. Think of how many letters are in his first name. Just
Okay.
you did it. Oh, that's 4. Yes, am I right? Oh, perfect. Okay. We know the first one's an E. So picture it here, and think of the second letter. I saw the way that your eyes shifted all the way over there, like at the end of the alphabet. Is that a Z? Is a Z all the way to the end of the alphabet? E, Z. I'm not even sure I know a name with 4 letters. Think about the third letter right here. Now you're closing up. The last letter. The last letter. Picture just that last letter, as big as possible right here. As big as possible. An A. Yes, I saw it. You looked at the point. An A. Yes. E, Z, A, as. Oh, Ezra. Is it Ezra? Is it Ezra? That's the only name that I know that could possibly be. Yes? Mm-hmm. Thank you. So this is the ashes on the arm trick, which you're probably already familiar with it, but stick with me because I've got a few details that I think you're going to find are interesting. Now, if you're not familiar with this, I'm kind of surprised due to its popularity from being featured on television multiple times, and the fact that this trick is a perennial favorite. People are constantly rediscovering and reinventing this trick, so it's a good idea for you to have a version of it that you like to perform. Now, what I'm doing is pretty straightforward, okay? So I'm asking somebody to write down the name of someone that I couldn't possibly know, somebody from their past or something like that, on this piece of paper. And what I do when I say that is I draw a circle right in the middle, and I say, just write the name down, big and bold, first and last. Now, when I tell them the instructions, I mention name once, and then I say, legible, so that if we have to look at it, everybody will be able to read it, big and bold, first and last. And it's important to give those instructions, because what they're going to do is they're going to write down the name. So let's just say that they wrote down John Smith, okay, like that. They're going to write it down in the center. And then you say to them, just tear off that piece of paper, fold it in half so that the writing's on the inside, and fold it in half again, and they do all of that work for you. Now, this is a Post-it notepad. You could use any small piece of paper, a business card, or whatever you want to use. But I'm going to be doing a center tear. Center tear is something that you have to have a justification for it. At least in my work, I like to justify why I'm going to touch this piece of paper and why I'm going to tear this piece of paper. Now, I know some guys will just do it, and they don't justify it at all, and it still works. But honestly, if you've got a reason to touch it, to take the paper, and to tear it, it makes more sense. And in this case, it makes great sense. The person is holding on to that piece of paper. I haven't touched it at all yet, and I say to them, all right, so you've written down the initials of this person, their first initial and their last initial, yes? Just the initials. And then they say, no, I wrote down, and you say, well, that's okay. Just keep that person in your mind. Don't change the person that's in your mind, but I just want you to write their initials down, so we won't use this. So you take the piece of paper from them, you say, we won't use this, and now you tear it up without looking at it at all. What I'm going to do is a delayed read center tear, and it's the easiest center tear in the world. All you have to do is know where the folded corner, the center of the paper is. Now, in this case, it's easy to see because it's the only place that there's any writing, that there's any marks on it at all. But if you use something that's a little thicker than this, you just have to see where the four corners are, and you use the diagonally opposite corner. You place your right thumb onto that corner like this, and then you tear straight down, like that. Then you place the left hand's paper in front, and you turn clockwise a quarter of a turn, and you tear straight down. You place the left hand's paper in front, and then your right thumb slides that section back into your right hand. That is the center section where that corner's folded. So as the left hand's paper comes in front, your right thumb slides that section back here, like this, and then using your right hand with that piece of paper still clipped there, that's the middle of that piece of paper, you just place it down onto the plate, or whatever you're going to be using, ashtray or plate, and you say, don't worry about that, we're going to burn that with everything else. And then you pick something up because you're palming this little piece of paper. You pick something up and you say, no, I just wanted you to write down their initials right here, just big initials, okay? Now, as that person is writing, you're going to turn, and with your back to them, you open up that piece of paper, you read what it says, you remember what it says, you reach into your pocket, and you get lip balm. That's right. Whatever your favorite lip balm is. And you do exactly what I just did. You reach into your pocket and you put some onto your lips so that if anybody is watching you, they don't think that there's anything suspicious about it. Then you push up both of your sleeves. You turn your left arm so that the forearm is up. And using the lip balm, you write the initials of the person's name that you just read. So I just read John Smith, so you just write a J and an S. And take your time with that. Your back is turned. It looks like you're doing this, pushing up your sleeves, and then capping and putting that away. You now turn and face them. They have a piece of paper. This piece of paper has some initials on it. And you say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you release that into the air and think about that person. You give them a lighter. They light this on fire. And then you say, let it burn a little bit, and then you can add it down with the other pieces there so that everything burns. And you let all of that burn without paying any attention to it at all as you start talking to them. Now, I already know the person's name entirely, and I have their initials here on my arm, but you can't see them because they're written in the lip balm. So that just burns, and if you need to help it burn a little bit, you can help it. You can light more fire on it, but you just need a little bit of ash to be able to wipe it on your arm. So you want to make sure that there's enough of it that you can spread it around, okay? But the whole time that that's burning, you can start talking to them about the person that they're thinking of without paying any attention to that. You can say, I just want you to imagine this person, whether it's a man or a woman, a boy, a girl, somebody from, and then using a little bit of cold reading, you can start to figure out. You have some information. You typically know from the name whether it's a man or a woman. You don't know whether it was an adult or a child or something like that, but you say, I'm starting to get the idea that you're thinking about you're thinking about a man, right? Now, if they start to say, you say, well, he'd be a man now, but he was a boy when you knew him, right? And then yes, that kind of stuff. So you know the gender of the person that you're going for. And then you say, I just want you to visualize just the first initial of this person. And just think about that. Just think about the first initial. Now, as the ashes burn out here, you're going to tamp out any of the embers and pick up some of the ash and sprinkle it on your arm approximately where you wrote. And then gently, very gently, don't press, just gently, you rub the ashes back and forth like this. Very gently. And those initials will start to appear because the ash will only stick where you've written. And then you can say, I'm seeing a letter J. Think about the last initial. I'm seeing a letter S, JS. Does that make sense to you? And they'll say yes. And you'll say, you're thinking of someone whose first name starts with J and the last name starts with an S. I'm getting that the last name's kind of a short name and it's a common name, Smith, right? Are you thinking of John Smith? So not only will you get the initials appearing on your arm, you'll be able to reveal the person's name entirely, even though what the audience will remember is that they only wrote down the initials of the person. As a matter of fact, if you do the setup with them, where you have them write down the person's name and then you tear it up, and then, let's say you're at a party, you do that, then you say, well, just write down the initials, but let's get a bunch of people over here to watch what's going to happen, because something weird's going to happen. If you get the audience's attention after you've done the dirty work, so to speak, then when you do the revelation and they think you're only getting the person's initials, it's extra amazing that you get the name as well. So there's a little bit of in-show, pre-show work that you can decide how you want to use it. Now, obviously, this is a really easy concept. You can use this for anything. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite ways to use the ashes on the arm is to just overhear someone's name. That's all you have to do. If you're at a party, social gathering, out at a bar, whatever, and you hear someone say someone's name and you don't know that person, you just take out your lip balm and you write that name on your arm, and now you're ready to go. You can go over, introduce yourself, want to see something weird. We've never met before. Just do me a favor, don't tell me your name. But here, just write it down on this piece of paper and then burn it in that ashtray. And they burn it, and then you rub it on your arm, and their name appears on your arm. It's a weird way to introduce yourself. But, that's what we do as magicians. Kind of fun. So there you go. Have fun with that. Who actually has a dollar bill that they will loan me? Anybody? Anybody at all? Somebody? You have a dollar bill? Hans, fantastic, has a dollar bill. Terrific. And you'll notice that I have represented this as the bank. And why don't you come on up here to this thunderous round of applause? And Fonz, not only will you loan me the money, we'll give the money back. That makes you a loan shark. You will also be the bank manager, okay? Which makes you a legitimate loan shark. So you take the bank and examine it, make sure that it is in fact just an empty envelope. That is where everything will be kept safe. Do you understand? Fantastic. We put the dollar in there. You know the French method, right?
Yeah.
The French method for sealing the envelope: licky, licky, licky. Yep. And then sticky, sticky, sticky. That's how it. Oh, and my checkbook. I already have my checkbook here. What I need to do is to write a check. Now, I would normally have to go in personally, but I'm not going to come anywhere near the bank. I'm going to show you how a magician would do this. What is today's date? What is it? 21st. So 001, 2001, 14. It's still early in the year. And I pay to the order of?
The bank?
No. Cash. See, you never have to do this. You never have to do this. Cash. 1, a 0, 0. There's a decimal point in there, of course. And then you have to write out $1. Oh, no, you don't have to write dollar. 1 and 0, 0, $100. It's kind of weird writing, isn't it? You sign it like so. I don't have to say what it's for, so we can leave that blank. Okay, so this is the idea. If I were sitting at home years ago, instead of having to leave the comfort of my own home and drive all the way over to the bank, all I would do is write myself a check for cash for whatever amount that I wanted, and then do this. And then this. And then a little bit of this. See, nowadays you don't have to do any of that. Now you just punch some numbers in on your phone and you've got your money. And then this. And then finally a little wiggle like that. And then this. A little bit of that. Oh, you know, I don't know if you noticed it, but that money that you loaned me, that had a little tear in it right there. Did you notice that when you gave it to me? It did. But what I'd like you to do is to just rip open the envelope and check to make sure that you've got the proper documentation. Nah. Of course, I would get this back in the mail. Since it was only a loan, that's for you. Let's give Fonz a big round of applause. Okay, this trick is not a mathematical trick. It doesn't really even belong in this section, but here it is anyway. I think it actually has some potential. I've changed it a little bit to get rid of, some of the extra baggage that was in the original trick, and I've streamlined it, and I've given it an updated, modernized handling for the change from the money to the check and so on. So what you're going to need is a checkbook. Now, it's best to use a checkbook that's from a canceled account. Cross out your name, the number of the check, a little bit of the routing number, and then you're going to write in that you pay to the order of cash $1. That's 1 and a 0 over $100. Now, if you know the date that you're going to be performing this, if it's a very specific show that you're doing, you put in the date of the show as well. Otherwise, you can just leave that blank. But that's what you're going to write on this check. Then you're going to tear that one out, and you're going to cross out your name, the check number, and a little bit of the routing number on the next check. That's just to prepare it for the show. Okay, so let's just say you've left the date open. If you wrote the date here, you're going to write the date during the show, but for our purposes, we're going to leave it empty like that. Okay, so you fold up the prepared check, and you have it ready, or you can bring it in to palm it. What I like to do is just hook it into the checkbook itself. You can find a good spot where you can lift up that edge, and it'll just clip right in place like this, so that when you bring out the checkbook, you can immediately slip that into place like so. All right? You're also going to need an envelope, just a plain old ordinary envelope, but on that envelope you have written bank in large letters. So with that as your preparation, you now ask to borrow a dollar bill from somebody. And you have that person write their name on that bill so that they can identify it again. You bring out your checkbook and you get that piece in place. You fold the dollar bill up, and holding it in this hand, you open up with one hand the envelope and let them look inside to make sure that there's nothing in there. And now you're just going to do a switch, and it's a pretty simple switch. It's easiest to do this if the flap of the envelope is toward the audience, away from you because it gives you a little bit more space to work in. All you're going to do is clip the dollar between your fingers like this. You're going to drop the check into the envelope, and then you're going to pull the dollar into finger palm. Then you're going to take that same hand and come out and grab the corner of the envelope like this. So everything happens with the action of the right hand, and it looks like you're just dropping the dollar into the envelope. Okay? That's the action that you're simulating, is just dropping the dollar bill into the envelope, grabbing the envelope at the corner, and then sealing it. So this hand now has the dollar outside, but as soon as you seal it, you immediately hand it to the spectator and say, you can feel your dollar right down in there. The check is folded in the same way and feels just like the folded dollar. So you say, hold on to your dollar right there. You're going to act like the bank. Now you're going to reach into your pocket and bring out your pen, or you're just going to pick it up wherever it happens to be. And that's transferring the dollar from one place to the next, like that. So when you're holding the pen, nobody will suspect that you have the dollar bill. So you've already preloaded the check there. So now all you have to do is write out a check that looks like that one. So you take your checkbook, you write cash and $1. You do this right in front of everyone, and you say 1 and 0, 0, $100, like that. Okay. I didn't sign it on the other one. If you sign the other one, you sign this one. If you want to put a memo, it's the same memo that's on that one. If you want to put a date, it's the same date as on that one. Basically, you're making both of those checks look the same. It's that simple. Okay, so now you tear off this check, and you're going to be performing the $100 bill switch or any other switch that you want. Now, because I have this only folded in eighths and already finger palmed, I just do a very simple variation on the $100 bill switch. There's nothing to it. So all I'm going to do, and let me turn this way to hopefully make it easier for you to see. All I'm going to do is, as I show the check, I just grab the corner of the bill like that with my right thumb, so that I can slip the check in front of it and then push the bill behind it like this. So I get it into position like that. And it's just as I'm displaying the check. So I write the check, and then I grab the check and I display it for everyone. And that puts the dollar in position and shows my hands empty. So there's nothing else. Now, as I fold it, I'm going to start by folding it in half like this. Now, you have to be careful. If you push like that, you could flash it everywhere. So you kind of fold it around your finger as you fold it in half. So from the front, it looks like that. And that keeps everything square. As soon as you do that first fold, you can now start to position the dollar so that it's going to be switched in at one of the corners. And then you fold the check so that it continues to cover the dollar, but it now gets to be the same size. Then you fold this edge exactly where the dollar is, like that. And now this is the variation of the $100 bill switch. Instead of having to do any kind of fancy unfolding action here, all you do is you use one hand to just flip the whole packet over as though you're folding it. So I'm just going to clip it with these two fingers, like that, and flip the whole thing over like this. And then I fold the check down. So from the front, looks like this. So I folded the check like that. I flip and fold the check down. So now that package is very small. I can push it off to the side, and I can continue to unfold the dollar bill. The fact that the dollar has shown up comes as a complete surprise. So if you want to, you can put that back behind there and show your hands empty again. You can snap it across from side to side. There's a lot of different options once you have it in place, but it's a pretty easy thing to do without having to use a thumb tip at all. One of the easiest ways to do it is after you have it in position like that, is just pull it back over so that you can show the back side of it like this. So this would be from behind. It's switched. You pull it into your hand, you lay the bill over it, you show both sides like that, you bring it back up, give it a little snap, and all the attention goes over here to that envelope. So as soon as they tear that open, and you can clean up the table now, and that lets you get rid of this. So you can pick all of this stuff up and put it away, and that gets rid of that extra check. As soon as they tear this open, the only evidence that they have is that folded check, which looks like the one that you made, switch places with their dollar bill. It's that simple.